I got the shade and the juice.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the newest episode of Shade and Juice. Guys, make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you're not yet one of the family, and also make sure that you share this video with anyone who enjoys entertainment news. So we're going to be talking about some of the hottest topics here on the top of the blogs. And the first one that we're going to talk about is Azealia Banks and Nick Cannon. This one was a freaking crap show, okay? Azealia Banks, she went on social media boo-hooing and saying how she was ambushed by the Wildin' Out crew. She said that they called her ugly and they talked about her complexion. So I'm just like, girl, first of all, you're the same person that I saw her talking bad about another black person and saying how this person should lighten their skin, number one. And this was not even like a famous person. This was like a regular fan. She also went in recently on Cardi B, made her like shut down her Instagram while she was pregnant because she was so stressed out about the situation. She also went in on Remy Ma. She also went in on people like Sarah Palin. Who cares about her, right? She also went in on like Eminem. She went in on Nicki Minaj recently, like everybody. So how you the one who's always throwing jabs at people, but you're not able to accept them? I mean, I think that people like that are supposed to be also able to accept the criticism, accept jokes and things like that. And how you go on a show like Wildin' Out and you expect them not to wild out on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you from New York, from what I hear. I don't even know too much about her, but I heard someone say that she's from New York. So if you're from New York, you should be able to take it. You shouldn't even go on a show like that. Or if you don't know anything about Wildin' Out, then perhaps you shouldn't be so hungry for money that you're ready to do any and everything. Because you should probably do your research or have your people, whoever set this up for you to be able to go on the show, do some research prior to you getting on. And if you feel like there are certain things you don't want to talk about, then maybe you should have mentioned that prior to you signing to say that you would be on the show. Then she comes on and says, if I were to make fun of Nick Cannon for having lupus and being weak and sickly, if I made jokes that said he'd be dead by the end of the year, then Azealia Banks is the bad guy, right? Yeah, you're an effed up individual. And for them calling you ugly, like, you're an ugly human being. Like, no, she's not ugly per se. I don't really consider too many people to be ugly. She's an ugly person inside. He went on to say, don't hate when you create your own storms, but forget your umbrella. We are praying for you, queen. She responded by saying he didn't have to pray for her and he should pray for his immune system. I'm just like, that's nothing to joke about. At the end of the day, this dude is a son. He's a father. He's an entertainer. There's so many things about him. From what I was reading somewhere, she was supposed to have this thing called Fantasy 2, where she's promoting her album, but she canceled it. She also, I think, was crying about the Wendy Williams show once again. I saw that somewhere. I didn't really look too much into that. But I just think she needs to, like, grow some thicker skin and don't sign up for things that she doesn't really want to do, or she won't be able to accept it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here for it, honey, and I'm ready to see the episode. I have a few of them on my DVR right now that I gotta catch up on. Snoop Dogg, honey. Uncle Snoop, as they just call him. He ain't my uncle, but I guess he's somebody's uncle. Uncle Snoop. He got caught having an affair with the infamous Celina Powell. She's the same girl that was recently outed for lying about Offset sleeping with her and her about to have a baby by Offset. I think she did have a baby, but it just wasn't by Offset because they did do the DNA testing or something like that, if I remember correctly, and yeah, it was, as she apologized, well, kind of half-assed apologized about the whole situation. She was dead trying to, like, stress Cardi B out. It's like she tried to pick certain men, and she's done this before, where she's picked certain men of a certain type of, I guess you can say, bankroll or whatever, and certain rappers and artists and things like that. Well, rappers are artists. And says that she's sleeping with them or she's having a baby by them. But this time around, she actually does have receipts. She shows like a selfie of herself and a selfie of him. with no shirt on. She also showed text messages where she calls him daddy, and he said that he was going to fly her out. He was going to have his people fly her out. She also has, allegedly, all this stuff is alleged, but I saw it, so I'm pretty sure it's real. She also has like FaceTime videos of him. So I'm like, either she got some good skills with Photoshop, editing, or whatever, or this is legit. His wife recently unfollowed him from Instagram, so it could definitely be some truth to the story. She had put up a post talking about how he had did her wrong, so that's why she's outing him. So I guess maybe he stopped the money flowing, or something happened where he was just, maybe he pulled back and she got vexed. Like, this is the worst type of person. You know what kind of, like, Snoop Dogg, like, how could you get caught up in something like that? That's what I want to know, because I'm pretty sure he looks at the blogs and things like that. He sees the shade room and all that. So why would you let yourself get caught up with somebody that's been out there, unless this is something that happened before everything or whatever? I don't know. Maybe he was just thirsty. He needed a drink. I don't get it. I don't get it, Snoop. I mean, I definitely wouldn't put it past anybody as far as cheating, especially guys in the entertainment industry, sports, anything related to where people are going to idolize you. Definitely don't put it past them. But sometimes you kind of hope that they're better than that, especially when he's been with somebody, his wife, for like 20 years. Future, he has another baby on the way, and he's been putting up stupid pictures. Well, he's been putting up pictures with captions like stuff about love and, oh, he needs romance, and if only somebody would love him, like things along that line he's been putting up recently. And his baby mother Joy, she just so happens to be the same person that has a baby by Bow Wow. And it's an ironic story because she kind of favors, in some photos, not all, in some photos she kind of favors Ciara, but then other photos she kind of doesn't. Because I was looking at a few different photos. There was one that she shows, I'm like, oh, I see why he like her. But then I seen another one, I'm like, nah, she don't really look like her. I guess it just depends on her makeup, the angles and stuff like that. So anyways, the thing with her, she has a baby by Bow Wow already. Remember, Ciara used to be with Bow Wow. Now she's going to have a baby by Future. So Ciara used to be with Future. So I'm like, are you trying to live Ciara's life? Are you going to go for Russell next? Imagine. Oh my gosh. But I think Ciara's keeping a tight grip on this one. And he seems like he could be a good guy. But once again, like I said, you never know. Funny enough, so that means that their kids are going to be like brother and sister. And they're going to always have to see that weird history. That's so weird. Future, he seemed like he was getting back with baby mama number 2, which her name is Brittany, I believe. But, you know, they posted up a picture, which I saw on the shade room, with him and her together. Just, I think they were on a jet or something. But come to find out, like a week after that, when he was coming from his Canada trip, he was doing a performance. He spotted going into, like, I think a hotel with another woman. So she probably gonna be baby mama number 6. We don't know. That's to be continued. But from what they're saying, Brittany is extremely upset. She thought she had one up on Joy. She also thought she had one up on, I guess, all the baby mothers, because she was in the jet. She was back with him. She was doing her thing. But he pretty much lied to her, played her out, and he's with somebody else. Or he's doing his own thing. He's doing him. So you definitely gotta be careful. And she was putting stuff on Instagram when they was asking her questions, talking about how she doesn't like people that's liars and cheaters, and she would never go back to her ex because she lived and learned and needs to take her own advice. So she's definitely bitter right now. She's definitely fazed by this. You know how people be like, I'm unfazed and I'm unbothered. She definitely is fazed and bothered. Ciara actually has put out some new music called Level Up. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about this song. I don't know if it's something that's going to kind of grow on me, because there's been some songs like that. Like, there's been some Cardi B songs where I'm like, but she kind of grew on me. This one, I don't know. We're going to see. I mean, there's some parts where I'm like, oh snap, let me twerk a little something. Let me move this little body that I have right here, this little booty. But I don't know. It's not something like, It's not like 1-2 Step. You know, that was a classic. This ain't 1-2 Step. This is something else. So I need to hear it a few more times. I only heard it once when I was in bed last night. And I don't know. Wendy Williams versus Tokyo from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So Wendy Williams, she recently, I just feel like it's not that serious. Wendy Williams, she was talking about somebody that was a virgin, and she said something about how the portly girl, she was like, oh, just like the portly girl from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. What's her name? And then her guy, her person, he said her name is Tokyo. So she was like, yeah, she's a virgin, and you know, good for you. She didn't say anything negative. I don't feel like she said anything bad. And I'm one that I would let people know, or I would say like, yeah, she was shading her, but she said portly. And I don't, if she would have said, like, what would she have said for her to not get upset? And it's crazy because initially when Tokyo saw it, she was just, I even have it on Instagram because I started following her. I don't know why, but I followed her for some reason. And she put up, oh my gosh, thank you. I wish my grandmother would have been able to see this. I made it to the Wendy Williams show. Thank you, Auntie Wendy, or something along those lines. And then today, it's like a shitstorm because she's like, oh, I didn't realize that she was shading me and how she was talking bad. I'm like, dude, how was she shading you? I feel like maybe somebody came up in her ear or somebody came up in the comments. She said something, she put the definition of portly because it means stout men, but that's not the way. I've heard people say portly before. She probably just didn't want to say fat. She didn't want to say big girl. It's like if she would have said big girl, she would have said fat. If she would have said something along those lines, would it have been less offensive? I mean, she did not know her name, and she was trying to refer her. She was trying to show who she was talking about. So, I mean, at least I would say to take the positive out of that. But now she's putting up pictures like of Wendy Williams being super skinny at the beach. She put up another thing with her having an argument when she was younger with Judge Mathis, where Judge Mathis was saying something. I didn't even listen to the whole thing, but I heard him say that she's something about drugs, and that's why her nose are so flared up. She's still showing signs and symptoms of coke usage. And I was just like, today's her birthday. That's real fucked up at the end of the day. And Tokyo's talking about how people bully her and they go in on her. It wasn't even that serious for her to be posting. She put up like 3 posts when she only mentioned you for like 2 seconds. So I really felt like that was doing the most. And like I said, like today's her birthday. Out of all days for her to pick to do that kind of crap. So that was just whack to me. I mean, I understand, and I was a big girl growing up until I was, in my high school years, and I had a eating disorder. So I know about being fat, so I'm not one to be like, oh, you can't be like, oh, you don't understand, because I do understand at the end of it. And I feel like for somebody who has such thick skin or pretends, oh, I love my body, I love this, I love that, for her to go in on that woman like that, I felt like that was uncalled for. There are many times, don't get me wrong, that Wendy needs it. She needs a good, I'm going to come and get you, but this wasn't that moment. It wasn't that time. Meanwhile, Michelle Williams, she recently checked herself into a mental health institution because, they didn't really go into why, but she did for her own well-being. And I feel like if you need to do what you got to do, I feel like you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. So if that was what she felt that she needed to do for her well-being, then, more power to her. She did say she suffered from depression. She's been very open and honest about this. She's also said that she's been suicidal in the past. And she is engaged to a pastor, but sometimes, you never know. And you still need to do what you got to do for yourself. Sometimes your demons are strong and you got to do what you can to bring them down and keep them at bay so that you'll be a better person. So definitely prayers go out to her and hope everything goes well for her. Stevie J just got married, y'all. And it's official. From what I'm hearing, it's like a real official tissue. So he recently filed for a marriage certificate or marriage license in the state of Las Vegas. And come to find out, that was first publication that we saw. And come to find out, a couple hours later, we find out him and Faith Evans did actually get married on Tuesday in a hotel. What? I'm like, what possessed that to happen? I don't know. I mean, I never really watched his show. I probably watched one episode the first season, but I don't really know too much about their relationship or anything like that. But according to what I'm seeing now, her name is Faith Renee Jordan, and they wrote on Instagram or Twitter like, "Oh, I love you, Faith Renee Jordan," and she was like, "I love you too." So they did break up last year, according to what I read. I don't know if it was publicly on the show or not, but they remained friends, I'm assuming with benefits. And I'm just wondering, and I know you guys are probably wondering too, how Jocelyn Hernandez feels about this. Because for that whole time, she was pretending to be married to this man. And look at that. Look at all the bullshit that she went through, having his kids and all that. All these women had these kids, but at the end of the day, he ain't married none of them. You know, that's why you got to be careful what you do, son, because look at that. And I'm pretty sure he has a whole bunch of respect for this woman because she's an artist. She's been established. They're able to make beautiful music together. He doesn't have to tell her what to do. I'm pretty sure she holds her own and does what she wants to do. And she probably also gives him that respect back in return. I'm pretty sure she's one of those types of women from what I've seen before. You know? I can say that Jocelyn definitely got treated like a little Kim in this situation. But not even, like, I'm being funny, but I'm kind of wondering how she feels about this and what her response, if any, is going to be. I'm going to have to look at Shade Room for that one. So finally, to wrap things up, it does look like Beyonce may be pregnant, allegedly. We don't really know yet, and of course, she's not going to confirm anything until she's ready. So it looks like Beyonce may be pregnant. We're not really sure as yet, but it's circling around. I guess because of these pictures that we see, it does kind of look like she could possibly be pregnant. She had like she was holding her stomach. It kind of looks a little round. I mean, she could have just eaten a burrito or something or had some pizza. Who knows? But that's what the word on this block is, that she might be pregnant. So I guess we will see what happens. So as we know, her special number is 4. You know, her birthday is like September 4th. Jay-Z's birthday is December 4th. So I guess that's why they feel like they were meant to be. They got married on April 4th. Their child is Ivy, and it's Roman numerals for 4, that first child. And you know, this would kind of make things official if they were to have the 4th child, and she'll probably like close off her tubes after that. I wouldn't be surprised, just to make sure there's no mishaps. But I guess we'll see. But like I said, she's not gonna do anything or tell us anything until she's ready to make everybody be shocked in some special way. You know how they do. So I guess that's to be continued. We'll see what happens. So my next episode is most likely going to be, I'm thinking Friday, depending on what goes on the blogs of the next few days. If there's anything that's really interesting. So just be on the lookout for that. It looks like it might be Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm trying to be on a real schedule, but it's coming around. It's coming. I did want to do yesterday, but I'm kind of happy I waited so that we could have added the Stevie J situation up in there. Thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you on the next one.